Chapter 3.1 Practical Level 1 Section. If this step needs running, it can only be successfully completed by a separate therapist. As the being goes into a more and more compulsive games condition with his own mind, he becomes more and more fixated upon it, and less in contact with the realities of present time. His actions become more and more strange and irrational, until, eventually, for his own safety and the safety of those around him, he has to be institutionalized. Everyone who has a mind is in a compulsive games condition with it, and therefore, to some degree out of touch with the realities of present time. It is entirely a matter of the degree to which he is out of touch. There is a make-break point beyond which contact with present time is so slight that any attempt to contact the past will dangerously lessen this tenuous contact, and so easily precipitate a psychotic break. The first step is always contact with present time. Only when this is above the make-break point is it safe for the being to contact his past. This is true whether the being is working solo or with a separate therapist. In that the being is never aware that his contact with present time has fallen below this make-break point, we see the reason why level 1 is, perforce, a separate therapist step. It's never easy for a being to be aware that he's not aware, which is why you will find a higher proportion of people totally convinced of their sanity inside insane asylums than you will find outside. Their delusional system has become present time to them, and as they know they are in contact with this, they just know they are sane. Your truly sane person has no such certainty, merely much positive evidence. Fortunately, only a small percentage of humanity are below this make-break point, and most of those have a long history of being in and out of institutions. However, there are a few below this point who may have no such history. They are those who possess a sane, delusional system. This state is appropriately known as computational psychosis. The being gives all the apparency of being highly sane if a little too fixed in his ideas. As long as he's not subject to undue stress, he lives a completely normal life. But he's a walking powder keg, likely to disintegrate at any moment. Too much stress can at any time precipitate a psychotic break in such a person. A psychotic break is sometimes politely referred to these days as a nervous breakdown. He's immediately hospitalized. Often he recovers, and 5 years later, disintegrates all over the place once again. And he'll continue to do so as long as he maintains such a highly charged games condition with his own mind, and the consequent tenuous contact with the realities of present time. So only a tiny proportion of humanity require level 1 to be run, but if it's necessary, it must be run before level 2 is attempted. For the mere attempt to do level 2 can precipitate the psychotic break. It would be terribly easy for me to say, well, we have a fine test for level 1. Let him try level 2. If he spins, he was level 1. It is a test, but hardly a humane one. Fortunately, there is a better test, and an entirely humane one. It sorts out those who are below the make-break point, without spinning them. The test is in the next section. The level 1 needs to improve his contact with the reality of present time before he can attempt level 2 safely. It's as simple as that. Nothing else is involved. There's nothing wrong with his neurons or psychons. It's purely between him and present time physical universe. The level 1 case is, because of his compulsive games condition with his own mind, too far out of touch with the realities of present time to safely attempt level 2 without running the danger of being utterly overwhelmed by his mind and suffering a psychotic break. In order to contact his mind, he has to take a little bit of attention off present time. That may be more attention than he can afford, and so he'll spin. I'm mentioning this at great length for obvious reasons. I don't want people spinning on level 2. Particularly when level 1 exercises are available from any competent therapist who is trained to use them. Undoubtedly the foremost experts at this level are the Scientologists, and their CCH exercises are excellent in achieving the desired result. So if you need level 1 run, go and see a Scientologist and tell him you want the CCH processes run. He'll be happy to oblige, and you'll derive enormous benefit from these simple exercises. Then you can start in solo, at level 2.